Welcome back to Speed Sport Magazine right here on MAVTV. AJ Foyt is a name that is legendary at places like Indy and at Le Mans, and maybe even more so at venues like Langhorne and Terre Haute. A racing hero to many of us, certainly to me. And every time I've had the opportunity to bench race with AJ, it's been a memorable experience. The stories of his racing exploits alternately leave you breathless or doubled over with laughter. There was a little bit of both during a recent chat in his garage at Indy when we talked about his glory days of dirt track racing. The first midget you had that you drove actually was your dad's, wasn't it?
Well, the first one I drove around when I was a little bitty kid, it was my daddy's. And the first time I ever drove at Playland Park, I set a new track record. And that's where Vukovic and Parsons and all of them used to race. Of course, I run last all night long, but I didn't know what I was doing. I bounced off the fence once, I think in a heat race, so everybody said I wouldn't live to be 22, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
I think you beat the over-under pretty good on that. When you used to sit in your dad's car, what did you dream of?
I worked at my dad's shop before I really started racing, as a mechanic. And every time the Indy 500 or something like that was coming up, we always listened to it. That day at the shop wasn't much work, it was just listening to the race. I just was local racing there for probably 2 or 3 years. So I come up here in the Midwest, and wanted to come up here and just see what I could do.
The road to Indy then was paved through the dirt, wasn't it?
Well,
you had to get through the
I
dirt.
think it was through the dirt and through the high banks. Salem, Indiana was a pretty dangerous racetrack back then. I won the race, and I guess they figured if he's wild enough to win a race, he'd be a pretty good race driver at Indianapolis, and that's what really got my first contract here at the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, Salem, Winchester, and Dayton were really the big paved.
That was the big guns back in them days.
Was it scary running those?
It wasn't that scary, it's just fast. Pat O'Connor helped me at Salem one time when I was having trouble steering the car, and he told Wally Muskowski, "You're going to kill this kid if you don't fix that steering gear." And so Wally and them fixed it there, and I raced, and then I got to know him a little bit with my first rookie year here at Indy, and he kind of helped me here at Indy, and then the first lap in 58 had a big wreck and he lost his life. I didn't know if I wanted to stay here or not. I said, this might be a little too tough for old AJ.
But it was what you learned on those high banks?
Well, I would say the high banks helped me as much. It made you pretty brave, I think. Young, you don't know any better. Courage
was a big part of racing of that era. Where do you think you found your courage? Where did it come from?
Well, then it was by the seat of your pants and your ability. Today, you still have to have the ability, but you know so much more on a computer, your mistakes and all that. When you made mistakes back in my day, you paid for them when they haul you to the hospital or something. So you got a lot of smart race drivers today, but you had to have pretty smart ones there, you and your chief mechanic, because there was nobody else that could help you except you two had to be a good team and a combination. So that makes it a lot easier today for a boy breaking into racing, because you got so much more knowledge of what's going on with him and why he's in the car.
This was an era also when if you weren't winning, you weren't bringing money home to put food on the table.
Well, that's exactly right, because everybody thought I really celebrated big time in 1961. I ate at the White Castle, me and my wife, at 11 cents a piece hamburgers. We had, I think, each a couple of them. Everybody said, I bet y'all really celebrate. I said, oh, we really did. The White Castle right across the street here by the racetrack, and that's what we eat.
We'll have more with AJ in a moment. We'll find out who was the only man that ever scared Super Techs.
And I look back at some of the old films I look at, and I scared the hell out of myself on some of the crap I did, and still made it.
Race fans, whether you love dirt, asphalt, 2 wheels, or 4, you need to be Speed Sport equipped with cool t-shirts, awesome caps, and great Speed Sport swag. You can get your limited edition merchandise now. Just go to nationalspeedsportnews.com, click on the store link, and start shopping. Throwback tees, shop racks, and everything you need to be ready for the races. That's nationalspeedsportnews.com. Click the store link.